Since the launch of Fallout 76, Commando weapons have reigned supreme as the best weapon class for all types of activities, with the only drawback to this class being its ammo consumption, if you can even call that a drawback. It makes Commando a safe choice for many players starting out the game. To aid players new and old, I wanted to create a damage test of all the popular Commando weapons, so I did just that. Before we start, let's lay out some ground rules and important information. Commando does best as a sneaking class. This enables it to take advantage of stealth multipliers and perks like Covert Operative and Follow Through. However, for consistency's sake, I will not be sneaking nor using any of these damage modifiers outside of the base Commando and Science perk cards. All damage testing was conducted on Earle Williams in a world server with God mode active. Last thing, the bloodied handmade damage numbers used throughout this video were done with the Swift Mag attachment. Every other rifle had the perforated magazine, which grants plus 40% armor penetration. I did this so you guys can see how large of a difference it makes in your damage, just to have that plus 40% armor penetration on your weapon. With all that being said, let's get to the testing. Moving on to the results of our DPS over 1 magazine testing, the bloody 2525 Enclave Plasma Rifle, the aligned version, with 3958 DPS, followed by the Ticket to Revenge, the bloodied variant of it, at 3840, and in third place comes the Quad 2525 Railway Rifle with 3577 DPS. In fourth place we have the bloodied 2525 Fixer with 3235 DPS. In fifth place we have the Quad 50c25 Railway Rifle with 3195 DPS. And in sixth place we have the Quad 2525 Fixer with 2758 DPS. Again, this is over 1 magazine. Moving on to 2 mag DPS, the Quad 2525 Railway Rifle has taken first place over the bloody 2525 Aligned Enclave Plasma Rifle with 1541 DPS. The Ticket to Revenge has remained in second place with 1471 DPS, and as I stated, the bloody 2525 Aligned Enclave Plasma Rifle has dropped down to third place with 1371 DPS. The Quad 50c25 Rail has moved up to fourth place, dethroning the Quad 2525 Fixer with a total of 1338 DPS. The Quad 2525 Fixer now in fifth place with 1179 DPS, followed by the Quad 2525 Handmade with 1078 DPS. Now, taking a look at this chart, we can see that the Quad 2525, which again was my favorite boss killing weapon back in the day, has proven itself to be the best weapon for overall DPS. However, I expect it to stay in first place even after 2 magazines, as it was stated back in my Railway Rifle comparison video. Having both the Q2525 Fixer and Handmade on the same page makes it very easy to compare how minimal the difference is between these 2 weapons, as players like to compare the 2 weapons and say, well, which one's better? Well, yes, the Quad Fixer does do more damage per shot. It's not by much, so if you do have a Quad 2525 Handmade, or you prefer the skins that are on the Handmade, it's really just up to you which rifle you prefer. Now, closing off the video, I'd like to take a minute to discuss the total damage, DPS over 1 magazine, and DPS over 2 magazine complete charts, so that I can give you guys a kind of a brief explanation as to what's going on here. So as you can see in the total damage chart, the Quad Alien Rifle did by far the most damage. However, the amount of time it took to do that damage is what did it in for the DPS testing. All of the Quad 50C weapons tended to be higher than their Quad 2525 variants in total damage. as these weapons did do more damage per crit, which means they did more damage per shot, essentially. So it's just a battle of, do you want to use a little bit extra ammo and kill things faster, or use a little less and kill them in less shots. I also want to point out that the 2-shot explosive alien rifle did terrible on Earle Williams, and this is a testament to how bad explosive weapons actually are in region bosses, and why you should never use them on these boss fights, as it would just be a complete disaster, and you are just nuking your own damage. And again, looking at these charts, you can see the bloody 2525 Handmade with the asterisk next to it, and you can see how much worse it did in comparison to the bloody 2525 Fixer by just simply not having the plus 40% armor penetration from perforating magazine on it. While yes, Swift Mag does allow you to reload faster, it just completely nukes your damage per shot, as you're not penetrating as much damage as you would if you had perforating magazine on. So that has been my Commando weapon rankings. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If there's any weapons I left out that you would like to see, I can see about throwing them into a second part of this video. I do apologize as I did not have a Elder Mark available to me. That is a weapon I did want to test out. It does do slightly higher DPS than your traditional Fixer or Handmade. However, its range is pretty bad, so getting that maximum damage, you have to be very close to your enemy, making it kind of a headache of a weapon to use, which is why I don't personally recommend the Elder's Mark, and I would highly recommend somebody stick to a Fixer or a Handmade.